guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today in the Ask SSM video series, got an email from a subscriber. This is from a guy, sounds like he's probably late 30s, early 40s, and he's writing in for both my help and yours. You're the community, because there's going to be some serious audience participation today, more today than there's been in a while, about his bro who is about to get married and who's rushing into a relationship. A guy who had a terrible marriage the first time around, messy divorce and all that, and spent 5 or 6 years really living the RP lifestyle. This guy thought his friend was a changed man until, guess what? He met this girl. He met this girl when he's traveling on business, thinks she's the one, think that she's different, a unicorn, all of that. And he's rushing it. He rushed into a relationship with her, rushed to have her move in, and now he wants to marry her. And this guy is like trying to talk some common sense into him and saying, bro, you can imagine what he's saying to him, but this guy ain't hearing it. And so he wrote in the story asking me to cover it, both me and you guys, on what he thinks, what I think he should do, what you think he should do, all that, about the whole situation. So there's a lot here, not only to help this one guy out, but also things that you guys can learn about, you relationship guys, because pretty much what's going on here is this guy, he had the marriage the first time around, the wife was a total witch and didn't work out, and you'll see how it didn't work out, but he did the whole player thing for a while, but deep down, he's a relationship guy. And obviously his actions show that, and it could happen to any of you guys. And after a while, a lot of guys will start forgetting the lessons they learned and can end up right back in the same bad situation all over again. I don't want that to happen to this guy, and I don't want this to happen to any of you guys either. So if this guy can get something out of this, if he watches it, and you guys can as well, it's worth it. So, starts off, he says, hey SSM, I want to start off by saying I love your channel. I listen to your videos every day while working on my various hobbies, and I've learned a lot from your content. Keep up the good work, bro. You're welcome, brother, and thank you for watching. Anyway, I want to share my friend's story with you and see if you can give me some help and give him some good advice, because he really needs it. He is presently 38 years old, and he and his ex-wife got married back in 2005. She was a typical jealous bitch to him, always starting fights with him over petty things, hardly giving him any sex, and wouldn't even allow him to watch porn. In her eyes, watching porn was considered cheating, which he and I always agreed was ridiculous. It is ridiculous. If she's not giving him any, and he obviously needs some distraction, some needs, either he can get it somewhere else, or he can get it in the privacy of his own room with his computer or whatever, but I don't recommend that, because a lot of guys get addicted to that, and you guys know what I'm talking about, but making that cheating. So she's a total, complete, controlling bitch. So anybody that would, what's about to happen, this guy should have been doing cartwheels, but instead it was more of a mess. This is a shitty marriage. Who the hell wants to be in a relationship like this? And yet so many guys are. It's so unfortunate. He says, well, they were married for 12 years. 12 years of that shit. Until 2017, when she all of a sudden left him. He should have been jumping for joy. He should have thrown a giant party. He didn't even see it coming either. One day she just came home and served him divorce papers and told him it was over. When he questioned her as to why she was doing this, she accused him of being abusive to her and said she wants to be independent and take care of herself for once. He questions the divorce, the sudden divorce, and that's the questioning of it, which anybody would do. That's being abusive. It's amazing how that term can be pretty much applied to anything by certain people. He, of course, was devastated and had no choice but to go through the miserable divorce process. Luckily, he didn't lose a whole lot in the divorce. He was only required to pay off her debts, including her car loan, and give her a sum of money to start over with, and that's about it. He got to keep the house and all his stuff, and they shared joint custody of the 2 kids. Well, shortly after his ex-wife moved out, he found out that she started a relationship with a good friend of his and immediately moved in with him. There you go. How many times have I done stories where guys are shocked that their girlfriend or their wife, whatever, breaks up with them and immediately has a new dude. They're shocked. How could she fall for a new guy that quickly? Blah, blah, blah. That's because she was already getting things all set up before breaking up with you. If she wasn't cheating already, which usually is the case, she was already lining up the replacement or replacements so that when she did the breakup, boom. I've known women that have done this. There's a girl I can think of right now. I'm friends with her guy, and she ended up with him because she, after years with the other guy, didn't work out, and she was already lined up the replacement, which I've warned him, but okay. At least he got the house, joint custody of the kids. He wasn't hammered too hard in the divorce process. But you know what? Now that dude she's with is she's his problem. And notice it was a good friend of his. Come on here. Bros before the you know what. So that says here, so that whole part of the story about wanting to be independent and on her own is definitely a lie. Not only that, but he also found out from talking to her sister that she'd been planning on leaving him for 2 years prior to that, which of course hurt him even more. So she definitely had this other guy lined up. What'd I tell you? And he found this out from her sister. He needs to nail her sister. After all the divorce crap was over, he decided he's done with relationships. Let's all remember this part. I'm going to repeat it one more time. He decided he's done with relationships. He said that he'll still date women and have fun with them, but he's never going to get into a long-term relationship with, cohabitate with them, or get married to a woman again. So for the next 5 years, he did just that. He had hookups with several different women off Tinder and Bumble, just doing the pump and dump thing, nothing serious, and had the time of his life. He also started working on self-improvement. He was excited at his job, investing his money, and even built himself a home gym, and got in the habit of working out. He was doing really well, and I was happy for him. Hey, that's great. Now, so he's 38 years old now. This bullshit went down in 2017, so he was give or take 32, 33 at the time. What's going on when a man is in his 30s? That's when the man's prime begins. And again, thank God he got the house. He got to keep most of his stuff. I mean, he shouldn't have to pay anything off, but it is what it is. Partial custody of the kids. And he started over. Self-improvement, right? And he's feeling good. And he's hooking up with chicks and all that. I'd be spending more time on the self-improvement part than hooking up with bimbos, but fair enough. He's on cloud 9. And his prime is still, he's in his 30s, still going to go for a while. Now watch what happens. During this time, I ended up discovering the RPMG Tao philosophy on YouTube, and I shared the information with him, and he was completely embraced. He and I watched several different RP videos together over the past few years, including yours, and we often had long discussions about manhood and female nature and stuff like that. Well, in early 2022, he went away on a work trip to the other side of the country, and guess what? He ended up meeting a girl. According to him, she's different from all the other girls he dated. Smack. Really? We've heard that one before. And he believes he's finally found a unicorn. Smack. By the time he went back home, she was his girlfriend. Smack, smack. And 6 months later, she traveled to our side of the country and moved in with him. Smack. What happened to Mr. No Relationships? I'm looking at it right here on the piece of paper. Right here, I'll read it again. After all the divorce crap was over, he decided that he's done with relationships. What this says to me is that he's a relationship guy. But he got really hurt, understandable, with the wife from hell. And he obviously wasn't very strong, at least back then, because the way she pushed him around and bossed him around and controlled him. And he had the time of his life, and he was turning things around. And then that guy, that blue pill guy, that relationship guy deep, came back out again. Okay, that's insane. Meet some girl on a work trip, and now you come back, she's your girlfriend. He doesn't know anything about her. Clearly, he wasn't paying attention to not just mine, but other videos online. He didn't learn anything. What's going to happen if he rushes into a relationship? The odds are it ain't going to go well. And he ought to know this. How is he going to possibly get to know really who she is on a quick visit on a work trip on the other side of the country? And after 6, and comes back and that's his girlfriend. and they move in together, and she's a unicorn. How do you possibly know it that quickly? That takes years to figure out, and gals can hide who they are for a long time. By the time she went back home, she was his girlfriend, and 6 months later, she traveled to our southern country and moved in with him. So far, things seem to be going fine between them, but I'm a little worried, though, because it seems like every time we catch up, he's becoming more and more blue pill again. Yes. I get, after a while, the whole pickup and hookup thing will get old. Some of you guys are like, SSM, what are you talking about? Trust me. Get a little older, you'll see what I'm talking about. But this doesn't mean that he has to have her his girlfriend after just knowing her for, a week? Or have her move in with him or anything like that. If he's a relationship guy, fair enough. Doesn't mean he has to rush things or have her move in. And let alone what I know is coming in this story. Just a couple months ago, he told me about things that are going so good between them, he's thinking about asking her to, wait for it, marry him. Smack. The second he told me that, the first thing that came to my mind was smack. Damn right. What the hell you want to get married for, I asked him. Didn't you learn your lesson from the last marriage? I didn't actually say that to him. Well, you should have. But that's what I was thinking about, though. Instead, I just asked him questions about why he thinks that would be a good idea, and he just kept saying that she's different. Smack. After what he went through, he's going to rush into another relationship or marriage. If the same crap happens, he's got no one to blame but himself. And there's no way he's watched a whole lot of my videos without learning what happens when you rush into relationships. Don't get me wrong, and I make this clear, there are some good women out there. They were raised well, good families, they're traditional, all that. They're not carousel riders. They're not attention, WHORES, on Instagram and TikTok and all that. They're fun. They're cool. Minimal drama. They're supportive, loyal. They take care of themselves, their bodies. They're loving the sex with you. They support you. All that. But it's unfortunately very rare. And you can't determine that after meeting some chick for a week on a work trip. Or even being with her for 6 months. And moving in with her, that's nuts. This guy needed to take fucking years. You'd think he'd learn the first time around. So he says she's different, and I don't think she's capable of treating me like that. I asked him if he's okay with the idea of possibly going through another divorce one day, if things end up not working out between them, and his answer was no. He told me that divorce is painful and humiliating, and he never wants to go through that crap again. Now why the hell do you think about marrying this broad? You want to be in a relationship with her? Okay, fine, She can live in her place, you live in yours, you get together, have a good time. I got no problem with that. But her moving in that quickly, going in a relationship that quickly is dumb. But her moving in, there's no point in her moving in unless you're actually going to marry her, and he shouldn't after all this. I basically told him that if he wants to be in a relationship with her, that's fine, but there's no need to get the state involved. Just enjoy the time he has with her, however long that may be, and if God forbid she does end up treating him like crap later on, he can just simply walk away. No divorce necessary. Amen. I told him that if he's really set on getting married to her, then he needs to take a lot of time to think about it and make absolutely sure that this is what he wants to do. I told him that there's no time constraints as far as I'm aware of, so it's okay if he takes several years to figure it out. He thanked me for my advice and said he'll give it some thought, and I haven't heard from him since. You haven't heard from him because he's not going to do what you say. That's why. If he was seriously thinking about it, you'd see him or hear from him at least once. And I don't know how long it's been since you had this chat, but because you're speaking the language of logic, which we all should do, and he's speaking emotion, and so it's not gonna compute. He doesn't want to hear. He wants to hear. I guarantee he'll hang out with the guys that are telling him what he wants to hear. Is there any additional advice or insight you think I should have given him? Or do you think it's time for me just to step aside and let him learn the hard way once again? Also, if he does marry her and wants me to be the best man at his wedding, should I set my biases aside and do it, or should I refuse? How would you personally tackle the situation? Any advice would be appreciated. Thank you. Well, bro, your buddy is a grown-ass man. And he has been through this BS before with his first marriage. And I'm guessing because he allowed his wife to treat him the way, his ex-wife to treat him the way she did, that communicated to me, at least at the time, back then, he was a weak guy. He probably bought into the BS narrative that he has to basically take all her crap because that's what a good husband will do. And didn't do anything because he has kids and didn't want to mess that up. And didn't stand up for himself, didn't check her and all that, and she walked all over him. Because remember, women don't love guys that they see as weak and they don't respect. And his wife, through her actions, demonstrated she didn't respect him. And of course, left him high and dry for one of his friends. And no doubt was hooking up with that guy prior to that. So that guy, that individual, I'd say, guy, it takes a long time to get that blue pill guy away, because that guy, that nice guy, that guy's been blinded by the narrative. He's always dying to come out. You have to keep him at bay. Just the way like people that have drug problems or alcohol problems, the wanting, the cravings for the drugs and the alcohol and all that are always there. They got to keep that at bay. It's the same thing keeping that nice guy at bay. But you think he learned the first time around, but he obviously didn't. And so you said, in my opinion, you said your piece. You made it abundantly clear. And if he's going to go do this and rush into this, and there is no channel, because you said you guys would watch different channels, my channel, other channels. There's no channel that would ever agree to what he's doing here. Not a chance in hell. So he knows better. And he's hoping it would be different. And honestly, I hope maybe she actually is that cool. Maybe she's traditional. I don't know what. I would hope for him. But the odds are that's not the case. And the odds are, because he obviously misses the relationship, or maybe he feels like a failure because his first marriage didn't work out. I don't know. He's hoping for round 2 will be better. But a lot of guys get into these situations. I'm sure there's somebody out there watching this that knows a guy that's been married 2, 3, 4 times. And it's like, what the hell's the matter with you? They just think they'll get better the next time or the next time. And they change nothing about themselves. Their screening process is terrible. And over they keep making the same mistakes. And you can feel bad the first time around. But after that, no, that is on them. So, honestly, if you want to go so far as sending him the video here, that may piss him off. But, you can do that. Or maybe you say something one more time. But beyond that, man, he's on his own. If he was very young, if he was like early 20s, that would be a little different, But after going through the divorce and all that pain and the hurt and all that, he's got to understand that you can't rush into these things. It takes years. I got no problem if he does a relationship with her. No problem. Have a great time. And wait years. But even then, after that divorce, he got lucky because remember, as you said, he really wasn't hit that hard in the divorce. Round 2 could be different. You just never know. And as for being, if he does marry her and being in the wedding like the best man or the groomsman, that's up to you. On the one hand, it could be like, hey, I said my piece, but I care about the guy, so fine, I'll be in the freaking the wedding party and all that. Or you say, you know what? Nah, I just see it's a bad idea. I'm gonna have to pass. That's up to you. I can see pros and cons either way, but this is just a mistake. And so for you guys out there watching this right now, maybe you're in a situation like this, or you have a bro that's like this. They go through the divorce from hell, and then a few years later, even after thinking they've changed, maybe being a player for a while, they go back to the same situation, making the same mistakes. As grown-ass men, I teach accountability, because the women sure as hell aren't about accountability, so us guys got to be accountable. He's bringing it on himself if this bullshit happens again. I hope it doesn't, but he's bringing it on himself. So that's what I think. I think he had to step back, maybe you say something one more time, maybe send the video, but beyond that, okay, what happens, happens. And that's all I can say. So guys, by all means, comment below. Comment away. Let this guy know what you think. Let this guy know, hey, step away, you said your piece, or send him the video, say this, say that. Let him know. Because I really don't want another guy to go through hell again. But on the other hand, if you're unwilling to listen, then it's like, hey, it's on you. And if he then comes crawling back, I should have listened, and goes through hell, it's like, okay. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below, like I said. Say what you can to help this guy out. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.